We talk about closing streets, but really closing the street is opening it. Closing a street to cars is opening it for other uses. We're in Prospect Park and we're standing in the middle of a roadway. And what was once a place for cars to zoom through is now a place of quiet, a place where people can walk or jog or ride their bikes. That's a marvelous transformation.
The park was really always designed to be a place for people to enjoy as a park. So it had become a transportation hub. That roadbed had become then just for cars. So over time, it was so important that it be returned to the people of Brooklyn. I started working with people from Transportation Alternatives, I think, in probably 1990, some early, maybe. And they were very enthusiastic.
Right now, we're actually closer than ever to getting results on this campaign.
I think one of my favorite memories as a TA activist was the Cars Are Scary Halloween action that we did in, like, I don't know, it was like the Halloween of like 2002. And we all sort of dressed as cars in Grand Army Plaza here and jumped around and had this sort of like weird kind of like drama production. It was like something from like a Wes Anderson film or something. And actually, you know, our rookie council member Bill de Blasio showed up.
When I talk about the campaign for car-free Prospect Park, I came into it as DOT commissioner for Bill de Blasio, and I'm going to say pretty early in his administration, he was a mayor who wanted to see it happen. From day one, although I was interested in it, so was the mayor, and clearly he was one of the driving forces in saying, come on DOT, let's figure out how to get this done. I don't think there's any city in the country that has a group of advocates that are as well organized, fired up, and effective as TA. And look, for my life as DOT commissioner, they hold my feet to the fire. Some days they make my days pretty tough, but their effectiveness cannot be doubted. And I think together we've accomplished some amazing things.
Really, transportation alternatives campaigns are a reason why I do this work in the first place in city planning and traffic engineering, transportation planning. Their campaigns for car-free Central Park and Prospect Park and safer, more bikeable streets really caught my attention.
One of the ways Transportation Alternatives made its presence known was activism on city streets. And in 1980, I had installed 3 physically separated bike lanes on 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue, 7th, and Broadway. And in November, I got the order from Ed Koch, then mayor, to remove the bike lanes. And when we went out there with the bulldozers, there were Transportation Alternative members blocking the bulldozers. So Transportation Alternatives has been in my consciousness for a very long time, and it's extraordinary what's been accomplished over the years, where at one time it was just like this small radical group that people kind of cast off to the side, certainly within the DOT, which was the traffic department, when I started saying, just a bunch of radicals, kind of ignore them. You can't ignore Transportation Alternatives today.
Well, we don't have to ask. They come in and they just ask, let me get a postcard.
I was super thrilled to learn that Prospect Park went car-free last year in October, and I am so humbled to have worked with Transportation Alternatives, who really define what it means to be a New Yorker, to have that New York hustle, to work relentlessly, whether it takes 1, 10, or 20 years to get a project done, they'll see it through.
About 15 years ago, the very first Transportation Alternatives petition that I signed was for a car-free Prospect Park here in the park. And today, the park is car-free. Advocacy works, organizing works.
My mother was killed in riding her bike in Prospect Park 21 years ago. You want the person you love to be the last person who has to have this happen. Every incident over time builds up to say, why do we have these cars here? This is a park. They have the whole rest of the city. This is a place we have. Why are they here? So sort of little pinpoints over time.
I feel like, TA wins these these campaigns. You know, we win car-free Prospect Park, and it definitely makes the next campaign easier. You know, it moves the ball forward. Now there's like a generation of kids who are growing up and like not having traffic in the park is normal, and it's what they expect, you know. And so they're gonna look around at another place in the city and they're gonna be like, why is this all filled with cars? Like, that doesn't make sense either. Let's get them out of here too. Let's change this.
Well, I think the legacy of a car-free Prospect Park will spread throughout the city. We'll have more green spaces, more public plazas, more protected bike lanes, safer streets for all ages, for all people.
In this city of all places, a city with an extraordinary mass transit system, with a pedestrian culture like no other city in the United States, with a density and a magical urban space, to take that incredible step of saying, you know what, the streets are not so much for cars. We're claiming them back for the people. This is a big step. You've taken a park back to what it should be, and it will be that way for all the generations of New Yorkers to come.